The Ravens have been the center of attention this season for a mix of highs, lows, and moments that leave fans shaking their heads. And no conversation about their struggles would be complete without addressing the offensive line, particularly Daniel Fowl, from the start of the season. There were expectations and questions about how he would adjust from tackle to guard, especially given his raw talent coming out of Minnesota. It was clear early on that this transition would not be smooth, and unfortunately, the team has continued to put him in situations where mistakes are almost inevitable. While it's easy to single him out as the weak link, the truth is that the entire line has had issues, and this is as much a reflection of coaching decisions as it is of individual performance. John Harbaugh and his staff bear a significant share of responsibility for continuing to deploy players in roles that do not maximize their abilities every game, every snap. The offensive line struggles become painfully visible, and yet the adjustments remain minimal, leaving fans and analysts frustrated with what seems like an avoidable situation. The critiques of Daniel Fowl have been vocal, some even harsh, and it's not hard to see why. Across the league, former players like Shannon Sharpe have not held back in their assessments, often painting a picture of a player who struggles to impact the game positively. Comments like he can't block the sun out of his eyes or that he looks overwhelmed on the field are strikingly blunt, but they reflect the frustration many feel when watching the Ravens' offensive struggles unfold. Week after week, his performance metrics speak for themselves as well. When looking at pass protection grades, run blocking, and overall efficiency, he consistently ranks at the bottom compared to his teammates. This has fueled the narrative that he's become a poster child for the problems plaguing the line. But it's important to remember that the unit's struggles are collective. Every lineman has had moments where execution faltered, and every misstep contributes to the team's broader offensive inconsistency. Media interactions have also highlighted another side of the professional pressure on players like Fowl. Recently, he was spotted leaving the locker room without engaging with reporters, a decision that sparked criticism in professional sports. The ability to handle media after both victories and defeats is considered a hallmark of maturity and professionalism. Veterans often step up to manage these interactions, while younger players may struggle. And this has been a recurring theme with the Ravens this season. Observers argue that while the frustrations of a poor game are understandable, avoiding media responsibilities does not help the team or the player's development. Engaging with reporters, even briefly, is part of the professional expectation, and failing to do so can attract unwanted scrutiny. While some teammates have been praised for stepping up in these moments, players like Fowl who shy away from interaction are often highlighted as exceptions, and this only adds to the pressure and public criticism surrounding his performance. The situation is further complicated by how the media and analysts dissect every snap. Every missed block, every failed assignment, and every moment of hesitation is scrutinized. Even when backup players rotated, the results have often been underwhelming. Yet the small glimpses of improvement highlight what might be possible if different personnel or adjustments were made more consistently. This has led to debates among fans and commentators alike about whether the issue is purely player performance, coaching strategy, or a combination of both. The line has struggled not only in pass protection, but also in run blocking, and the disparities between individual players' grades reflect the uneven execution that has plagued the Ravens' offense. While some players, like Ronnie Stanley, have performed admirably, others have faltered under pressure, making it difficult for the offense to maintain momentum or sustain drives. Adding to the drama of the season, critical mistakes and missed opportunities have drawn national attention, not just from Ravens fans but across the league. Controversial calls, inconsistent officiating, and moments where the team's best efforts were negated by external factors have compounded frustrations. A notable example occurred during the Week 14 game against the Steelers, where a wrongly assigned unnecessary roughness penalty significantly influenced the outcome. The NFL later admitted the mistake, acknowledging that the penalty should not have been called, effectively altering the scoring sequence and potentially the final result. Situations like these highlight the fine margins between victory and defeat in professional football, and underscore the pressures players face, not just from their own performance, but from circumstances beyond their control. In addition to on-field performance, the Ravens have faced scrutiny over internal communication and player management, drafting decisions, positional changes, and the development of younger talent all factor into the season's narrative. Daniel Fowl's transition from tackle to guard was ambitious, but but the lack of support and gradual development opportunities has left him exposed in high-pressure situations, while some argue that other players might have fared no better under the same conditions. The visibility of his struggles makes him a focal point for discussion. Analysts emphasize that development takes time, and expecting immediate mastery in a new position is unrealistic. Still, in a results-driven league, patience is often in short supply, and players are judged harshly for mistakes that may be as much about circumstance as ability. The broader team dynamics also come into play. Veterans have occasionally left the responsibility of media interactions and public engagement to younger players, creating moments where perceived accountability is uneven. This feeds into narratives about professionalism, leadership, and preparedness, with players like Fowl receiving attention not only for on-field performance, but also for how they handle the pressures of the game off the field. Discussions about who should be speaking to media, how players manage defeat, and the expectations placed on professional athletes are ongoing, reflecting a tension between individual readiness and team expectations. When failures occur, they are amplified because they intersect with public perception, professional responsibility, and the broader narrative of a team striving for success amidst challenges. Performance metrics continue to provide a stark picture. Analysis of grades in pass blocking, run blocking, and overall execution consistently highlight disparities within the line. Daniel Fowle's numbers have remained low relative to his peers, reflecting ongoing struggles in both protecting the quarterback and opening lanes for the running game. Comparisons to backups and other starters underscore the inconsistency that has become a hallmark of the Ravens' offensive struggles. Every misstep is magnified because the line's cohesion is essential for every play, and any breakdown has ripple effects across the offense. While incremental improvements are occasionally visible, the overarching pattern remains one of underperformance and missed opportunity, fueling debate over coaching decisions and personnel management. At the same time, the attention from media and former players adds another layer of intensity. Shannon Sharpe's candid commentary exemplifies the type of scrutiny players face, especially when struggling under high-profile conditions. Descriptions of struggling to execute basic tasks on the field, inability to adjust to defensive pressure, and moments of perceived incompetence are amplified across platforms, further challenging players to respond and improve. While such critiques can seem harsh, they underscore the level of professionalism expected in the league and the consequences of repeated errors over a season. For fans and analysts, this attention also provides a lens through which to evaluate coaching strategy, player development, and long-term roster planning, all critical components of a successful franchise. Beyond the immediate struggles of the offensive line, the Ravens' season narrative has been shaped by a combination of missteps, controversial calls, and strategic questions. Each game presents an opportunity to evaluate player performance, coaching decisions, and the impact of external factors such as officiating. The interplay between these elements determines outcomes, fan perception, and the trajectory of the season. As the team continues to navigate challenges, the focus remains on improving cohesion, accountability, and execution while balancing the pressures of professional expectations and public scrutiny. The ongoing discussion around Daniel Fowle serves as a case study in these dynamics, illustrating how individual performance, team strategy, and external commentary intersect to shape both public perception and organizational decision-making in the NFL. Even as critics dissect every play, the Ravens are tasked with looking forward, assessing options, and making adjustments that could influence the remainder of the season. Developing players, rotating personnel, and refining coaching approaches are all part of the process. The stakes are high, and the margin for error is minimal. Fans, analysts, and former players alike watch every snap, ready to highlight successes or failures, making the professional environment both challenging and intensely scrutinized. For Daniel Fowle, the journey has been particularly visible, and his experience reflects broader themes of adaptation, expectation, and accountability that resonate across the league. The Ravens' season has also been defined by a series of contentious calls and officiating controversies that have sparked intense debate among fans, analysts, and former players alike. One of the most talked about moments came during the Week 14 matchup against the Steelers, a game that seemed to hang on a knife's edge from start to finish. In that contest, a wrongly assessed unnecessary roughness penalty on Travis Jones shifted momentum dramatically. The penalty, which was later admitted by the NFL to have been a mistake, allowed Pittsburgh to maintain possession and set up a touchdown. a sequence that directly impacted the outcome. While the Ravens had opportunities to respond, the effect of that call was undeniable, illustrating just how small margins can drastically influence a game for a team fighting for playoff positioning. Moments like these are not just frustrating, they are pivotal. The acknowledgement by the league that an error occurred does little to mitigate the immediate consequences experienced on the field, leaving players and coaches grappling with the what-ifs of a season already full of tight contests and high stakes, adding to the drama. The handling of other critical plays in that game has sparked debate over the clarity and consistency of officiating rules. Take, for example, the controversial Isaiah Likely touchdown situation. Observers and analysts have struggled to fully understand the ruling, as the steps, positioning, and ball control involved in the play created an ambiguous scenario. Even John Harbaugh expressed frustration in press interactions, noting that discussions with league officials provided limited clarity, and that the ruling seemed as clear as mud for the players. This ambiguity can be demoralizing. Effort and execution may not yield the expected outcome due to interpretations that feel inconsistent or opaque. Fans watching live and later dissecting footage experience a similar sense of confusion and frustration, highlighting the broader issue of perception and transparency in professional football officiating. The Ravens' struggles in these moments are compounded by the cumulative effect of earlier errors, miscommunications, and missed opportunities. Each game, every possession carries weight, and a single misstep, whether by a player, coach, or official, can set off a chain reaction that shapes the narrative of the entire contest. The interplay between performance, strategy, and officiating has made this season particularly complex for the team and its supporters. Analysts have pointed to these moments not just as isolated incidents, but as symptomatic of larger challenges in consistency, preparation, and adaptability. The Ravens' offense, already pressured by struggles on the line and key positional adjustments, finds itself further burdened by moments where external factors, like officiating decisions, exacerbate existing vulnerabilities. Looking closer at the Isaiah Likely situation, the discussions about the ruling also touch on the rules governing how catches are determined in critical scoring areas, the three-step rule, for instance, and interpretations of what constitutes possession, foot placement, and progress are subject to intense scrutiny. Analysts and former officials alike weigh in, dissecting each angle, and the Ravens coaching staff is left to reconcile the outcome with both preparation and game plan. These moments underscore the delicate balance between athletic execution and the rigid framework of league regulations, revealing how thin the margin is between success and disappointment for players. Learning to navigate this environment requires not only skill but also mental resilience, as a season's worth of effort can hinge on split-second interpretations that may or may not reflect the intent of the play. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. Whispers around the league grew louder overnight as quarterback Shedeur Sanders, long expected to weigh his professional options carefully, is now rumored to have accepted what insiders are calling an irresistible offer from the Baltimore Ravens. Nothing has been confirmed publicly, but the buzz circling front offices and training facilities suggests that something significant is unfolding behind closed doors. Executives familiar with the situation hint that the Ravens moved aggressively, presenting a vision for Sanders that went far beyond a standard rookie pitch. Sources close to the quarterback describe a sense of excitement mixed with strategic calculation. Sanders has been viewed as one of the most intriguing prospects of his class, a player with both the pedigree and the composure to handle the league's brightest lights. The Ravens, meanwhile, appear eager to fortify their long-term quarterback room with a high-upside talent who can develop under a stable, championship-oriented structure. Some league observers believe the franchise has been quietly preparing a succession blueprint, while others insist this move is less about the distant future and more about adding another dynamic playmaker to a system already built on explosiveness. What has truly fueled the chatter is how swiftly the rumors escalated. Coaches, analysts, and agents have been trading messages, trying to verify whether Sanders indeed gave a green light to Baltimore. Though his camp remained silent, several well-placed voices claim the agreement was reached after a series of private conversations, emphasizing fit, opportunity, and a long-range plan tailored specifically for him around the Ravens facility. The mood is described as cautiously electric, as if those inside know something the rest of the league is only beginning to suspect. While no official announcement has surfaced, the momentum of the rumor has taken on a life of its own, leaving fans and insiders wondering whether the franchise has just pulled off one of the most intriguing quarterback moves in recent memory. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.